My name is Matt Stvns. They call me the Package. I'm a fighter out of Rikers Gym. I'm a kickboxer / MUAY. I've had 10 fights, 10 wins, and 5 have come by knockout. Next fight I have lined up is the Knees of Fury, which should be in Feb, so about 6 weeks from now. I'm fighting a Kiwi opponent, full Thai rules. I started martial arts when I was about 7. Started karate down the gym near my house. Did that for about 10 years and then took up taekwondo as well, when I was about 17. And that was about 20, yeah, so I've been doing it for 20 odd years. About 4 years ago, I was looking for something new, a new challenge, and I looked up gyms and found this gym, Rikers Gym. Heard a lot of good things, so I thought I'll come and give it a try. And that was 4 years ago on New Year's Day. I walked in and I haven't looked back since. Just fell in love with it straight away. When I was doing taekwondo, I was looked up to a lot of Olympians and stuff like that. But probably the biggest influence on me as a fighter has been Giorgio Petrosian. I just love his style, his ability, his defensive ability, number one, how he's just so slick and so sharp and so precise. And maybe Yodsanklai as well. I just love that big left leg, how it just chops through anything. They're probably my two biggest influences. Although you wouldn't know it when you watch me fight. I don't really fight like either of them, but I definitely watch a lot of their videos and their highlights and try and practice some of the stuff they do in the gym. Firstly, I don't know a whole lot about my opponent. I've seen a little bit of footage online. I know he's had a few MMA fights, so I'm expecting him to be a bit freer in his movement. Although this fight, normally I fight K1 rules for some Thai fights, but this one will be full Thai rules, so we'll see if that changes stylistically. For me, we don't really change the way we fight based on the opponent. I tend to fight the same way, which is fighting from a longer distance, using a lot of kicks, and trying to be disruptive with my timing. If that doesn't work, then we change the plan mid-flight, but usually it's the same sort of tactic. So yeah, we'll see how we go in this fight. If we need to maybe fight from a shorter range or a longer range or something like that, then we'll adjust mid-flight. But in terms of training, nothing changed. It's the same sort of thing. So this year has been a pretty big year for me. I've had 5 fights this year, won all 5. 3 of the fights were title fights. One was a state title, WKA state title, which I won by knockout in the 5th round with a spinning kick, which don't ask me where it came from, I have no idea. It was more of a Hail Mary than anything, but it seemed to work, so that was good, and it kind of gave me a bit of, sent me on a good run. I had another fight against Hugh O'Donnell from New South Wales, and I won that in the 4th round via stoppage with a nice right hand. And then later in the year I fought a New Zealand opponent, John Anderson, for another title, and I won that by 4th or 3rd round knockout with a head kick. So 3 fights in a row, all stoppage, all for titles. I was pretty happy with that. And then I had a fight again recently in November against Josh Masters from New Zealand, which went 5 rounds, but got the unanimous decision there. So yeah, and the first fight I had this year was it was meant to be a 5-round fight, but we had a change of opponent at the day before the fight, so it was only ended up being a 3-round compromise fight, but I won that via unanimous decision as well. So it's been a really almost a perfect run for me this year. Hopefully next year will be similar. The local scene in Adelaide over the last few years has really started to take off. There's a couple new promotions and one old promotion that started back up. So Carly Gangle's got a promotion called Pride that's on next year. The Barossa Blitzers started back up again. Resurrection should be going. So there's a lot of stand-up fighting. There's a lot of opportunities for young fighters coming through, which is good, which wasn't sort of the case when I started. It was just the one main show, sort of knees. So it's good that young fighters are getting a chance and amateur fighters are getting a chance. And also with Diamondback as well, getting the MMA scene. You've got guys at our gym like Will Kolarov who's doing both kickboxing and MMA, so you know, it's at the end of the day we're all sort of working towards putting SA on the map, you know, as a state. There's so many good fighters coming out of South Australia, and it's good now that there's a lot of promotions that are, you know, good quality promotions, so we can actually showcase how good South Australian talent is, because we are pretty good, pretty competitive nationally. I guess I would just like to see more frequent Adelaide shows, because obviously with knees there's 4 shows a year or 5 shows a year, but some of the other ones only have 1 show a year, so maybe 2 or 3 shows a year. Maybe start getting some TV rights for it as well. I'd really like to see knees be live streamed. That's one of the things that I think could really help it, because I get a lot of people interstate ask me, is it on TV or can I watch it anywhere, but there's no live stream. So I think that would be a real good way forward. I know Diamondback do that. Diamondback's a really good show. Yeah, I was really actually quite surprised, first of all, to be nominated for Upcoming Fighter of the Year. I don't know how the nominations work or anything like that, but I just sort of saw on Facebook that I was nominated, and yeah, it came as a bit of a surprise, and I was really quite grateful for that nomination, that someone actually thought of me and thought I was deserving of the award. So I'm up against some other talented fighters. I know there's a few guys on the list that I know of and have seen fight, so it's gonna, you know, to win that award would be massive, not only for my career but just for getting recognition, I guess. And then the other award I've been nominated for is the Sexiest Fighter of the Year. Again, I'm flattered that someone thought of me and nominated me, I truly am, but it's probably one of the awards that, look, if I win it, I mean, I'm not going to complain, but, you know, I might even change my Instagram bio, but but outside of that, I mean, you know, well, you know, if I don't win it, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep. We'll see. Maybe I will, who knows. Look, we're going to have a few big fights next year. I can't say too much because obviously all the details are still yet to be worked out, but there's some big local fights that I'll be having. And also we're trying to get on some bigger interstate shows, maybe Rebellion, maybe Power Play, we'll see what happens. Kings of Combat, we'll see what happens. And I guess the main goal in a couple years' time is to get on some international shows like Glory or One Fight Championship would be awesome. But you know, for now it's just head down, win fights, grind it out in the gym, and see what happens. Put together the complete package, as it were. So.